manipulated for the entertainment of other people. And so I know it's kind of ironic for me to do this to you, but we didn't clear this with you or your manager or anything. But here we have today a second guest, the director of the Branson Show, a man known only as Gordo. So Gordo, I want to bring you out here and ask you, how does it feel to see Branson again for the first time since the show?
Thank you so much for having me on, Holland. It's wonderful to see Branson again. He's literally my child.
Yeah, I don't even know who you are.
Branson, I made you what you are.
This is the guy. Does he not look familiar? When the walls of your house fell down, you didn't see this guy standing there with a clipboard next to a guy filming you?
You took my whole life and you just made it a lie and you filmed it without me knowing. I jerked off constantly and all of that was filmed. From the age of 12 to now, I just jerked off constantly and you saw it all. And you made a TV show of my life and now I don't know what's real anymore. And I have one thing to say to you, Gordo.
What's that?
I mean, you're not going to give me like a little bit of money for this whole thing? Like, it made a lot of money and it just seems like I didn't get any of it. Like, I saw clips of people watching the Branson Show in Times Square. Like, it was a big deal. Like, I get like you know, I never signed a contract.
Is that what this is all about? About money, Branson?
Well, I mean, it's not about money, but now that I don't have, you know, it's kind of hard to you know, direct your own life, you know. Now, it does. I don't think any of this is going to give me closure, you know.
I'm sure it's a little overwhelming.
You know, I think with all the payment stuff, I think that maybe you're being a little greedy here, Branson, because this show was on the Zing TV network, which is defunct now. It went bankrupt, and you know, at some point it got revived as the Zing Podcast Network, but there really isn't a whole lot of money to go around there.
Well, can I get a Risco tablet? You guys have any extra Riscos or something?
Risco is not a subsidiary of Zing. Risco is actually owned by a whole different corporation, and they have a partnership with Zing to bring Zing podcasts to the Risco tablet exclusively. However, that contract that they have doesn't even cover old things like your TV show. I mean, that's over.
You know,
I don't work for any of these companies, Branson. There's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands. I'm sorry.
Gordo's an artist. He's the artist who made the show. He's not like a business guy. He's not one of the suits who did the money stuff.
Well, I mean, he's wearing a lot of gold jewelry. I just, you know, it doesn't.
Oh, well, he made a lot of money on the show.
Can I ask you, Gordo, when I was a kid and all those toilets kept blowing up, was that you?
What do you think, Branson?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of why it was done. Of when I was 6 years old, you know,
You fell forward off that toilet and it scared you, yes.
Yeah, well, it blew up. It didn't just. I just didn't fall. Like I was soaking wet because the whole tank blew up. Every time I tried to use the toilet, the tank would just boom, something in it would blow up, and I'd get soaking wet. There'd be stuff everywhere. My pants would be around my ankles. I was 6 years old. It was demeaning. So now, even to this day, I have to sit backwards on all toilets and put my elbows on top of the tank as hard as I can so that they won't pop off and blow up.
I mean, it's kind of on you for not opening the tank to look for dynamite or whatever. It seems like you should have thought of that at some point.
Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. I don't know what to tell you. Why, Gordo, why me? Was I the cheapest kid? No one ever told me my real parents. After I got out of the show and I said, this is a show, you guys kind of let me just walk out the door, you know? And I didn't know we were in South America. I don't speak any Spanish. I'm walking around. Nobody knows what I'm saying. I thought I was American this whole time. I'm not even a U.S. citizen. I'm on a work visa.
Branson, we gave you a world, a better world, your world, for a life that was much less cruel.
You gave me a dead dad, a fear of spoons and forks, which is way more debilitating than a parachute. Forks is, I can't go to any restaurants, you know? Just why? Why me?
Because I wanted to create something great.
Well, you know, I mean, I was kind of a shitty kid. Like, did you really get anything great? Like, I spent most of my time doing pyro stuff and playing with those worms. Like, it really wasn't Americana, you know?
You were special, to say the least. You didn't notice for 2 seasons, which was about 4 years of your life, when the actress who played your mother had a large disagreement over a contract, and the actor who played your father was back wearing a wig. You didn't even notice that wasn't the same person playing your mother.
It was a busy time of my life. I didn't have a lot of time to look at faces, you know?
It was for 4 years, Branson.
I was going to that university that was across the street from my house. 7 of us went there. I'm guessing the first time I lost my virginity, that was just, that was filmed too, huh?
Oh, it was all filmed.
All those hand jobs where I couldn't get hard in that dorm room.
Yeah, Gordo has his own legal troubles because, like, a lot of that stuff was child pornography, essentially.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's get into it.
The
I
girl
would like
that
to
you
get
lost
into
your
that.
virginity to was a crash test dummy with a voice box.
Yeah, well then how did I dated her for a month? I went to Aubon Pan with her. That was a dummy?
Magic of the business. There was a lot of very skilled artists that worked on you, on the show for you.
Basically, I jerked off 4 hours a day from 12 to 18.
And no one ever stopped you.
Why would they?
In the real world, there's interruptions. We gave you a perfect world.
What? You gave me a bathroom to beat off in, and you're telling me it was a perfect world?
And keep
How
in
could
mind
that
that
not be a perfect world for a teenage boy?
that exploding toilet was like 5 feet away, so you always had kind of like one eye on it, and you were a bit nervous, I gotta say.
I went to the doctor after all this. The guy told me I've been on atorvastatin for fucking 7 years. You've just been slipping medicine into my food? It'd be easier to just convince the me as the dummy back then who didn't know that I just needed to take cholesterol medicine. It was a lot of work you guys went through, and I'm still really confused about all of it. Did you know Rumbler's British? I talked to him. We're still good friends. We're still very close. He is still my best friend, but he's just a British guy. And he smokes brown cigarettes called Wessons.
He also hates cocaine in real life.
And he doesn't listen to ska. The real Rumbler, his name is Dude Lunch, and he listens to shoegaze. And a little math rock. He told me he enjoys a little bit of math rock.
Branson, I don't know what to say. We had, I don't know how many close calls.
He lied, man. Everybody lied to me. He said that he likes math rock with some shoegaze elements.
I wouldn't say
That's
we
not
lied.
ska.
We formulated a better life.
Yeah, can you honestly say that your life would have been better if you had to hear math rock all the time?
No, I don't want to hear math rock all the time.
Well, I think
wanna
Gordo's
sit
making a
back
good
and
point then.
I don't want to sit back and listen to my music that hard. It's supposed to be relaxing.
There are so many close calls. When you first discovered reggae was not invented by a white man.
Oh, that was a very traumatic time in my life.
That was the season finale.
Wait, I thought it was a 24-hour. Why'd you have seasons?
Because that's how television works, Branson. You can't tell me. I've done this your entire life. And in 1998, when The Truman Show came out, we thought we were finished for good. We did everything we could to make sure you would never see that movie. I said, well, they took this whole idea.
It was especially tough.
2016,
at that time,
you're sitting on your couch, and it was playing on cable TV. Somehow,
It was on TNT all the time. It's on TNT. Like I
our
saw
people
it.
let it slip through, and you saw it multiple times, and you never made the connection once.
Yeah, when that movie came out, they actually paid. They were one of the sponsors of the show. Was the Truman Show movie, and there were ads all over your town. Like every billboard was for the Truman Show, but you just never put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, because that would be a crazy thing to do.
Everyone that watched the show was thinking, is this the dumbest living man of all time? Or is it not his fault? Is it due to the formulated, fabricated
I'd like to
life?
see you get Truman Show.
Let me finish,
and see how
Branson.
dumb you are.
They thought you might not be aware of it being a fabrication. You might not leave the cave. But they also thought, is Branson a genius? And I believed you were and are.
Why, I didn't do anything. I was watching the Truman Show. I'm like, this is crazy. This would never happen to me. I remember saying that out loud. I elbowed my wife, or, she wasn't my real wife. The wife you guys, I guess, found for me, Hannah. I'm elbowing her, right? And, I'm really jabbing her. She was pretending to be asleep, and I knew it. I woke her up. I'm like, that'll never happen to Branson. Never. That'd be crazy. What a dumbass. That camera fell. He didn't know. The rain cloud, right? The second I heard that shoegaze, I knew. Well, I didn't know it then. I knew when the walls fell and I saw the cast and crew. And, pulled up my sweatpants and apologized. I don't know why that was my first
When you're in
instinct.
college, you're having sex with your girlfriend, Tina, at the time. And a boom mic bumped into your ass 7 times. And you didn't notice.
Well, when you're rocking and rolling, you really got your mind on the prize, I thought it was her foot or something. I saw the YouTube
You thought a fuzzy
clip.
boom mic was her foot.
I thought she was wearing slippers. Like those feathery slippers. You guys know what I mean.
Well, Branson, I couldn't help but notice when you were talking about how the shoegaze was the thing that made you realize what was really going on. I think what's going on here is that you saw The Truman Show, which starred Bill Murray. Then, Lost in Translation, you saw that film, which also starred Bill Murray, but was soundtracked by Kevin Shields from My Bloody Valentine. And when you heard the shoegaze, you thought, oh, Kevin Shields, Lost in Translation, Bill Murray, Truman Show, I'm getting Truman Showed. And then it was just a coincidence that all those walls fell down later.
When was Bill Murray in The Truman Show?
Bill Murray, I don't remember him in the Truman. Did I see? Wait, hold on, Gordo.
Oh,
did you show me a different?
Movie?
Did you show me a different Truman Show?
No, I showed you The Truman Show. I don't know what Holland is.
No, it's with Jim Carrey,
Their
right?
names are almost the same name to me. It's just
Wait,
like,
have you not seen the Truman Show?
Carey and Murray just
Holland.
seems like the same movie.
Holland,
the same
have you
name
not
almost.
seen The Truman Show?
I told him I got Truman Show.
I haven't seen any
I thought
of these
everyone
movies.
knew
I've
what
never
that
watched
meant.
movies. I've never seen any movie.
Wait, so you don't? Okay, so what's the plot of the Truman Show?
Well, it's a thing where the guy is in Japan or whatever.
Wait, so okay,
That's Lost in Translation.
why do you think you're interviewing me right now?
Because unlike you, I'm getting paid to do this interview. This is just my job.
Oh, well, I'm doing this mostly.
I don't know why you're here.
Oh, okay. So you just have. Okay. All right. Well, that's that, I guess. But yeah, I thought, there is a possibility that I was just shown a different Truman
I forgot.
Show.
Yeah, see, so Bill Murray was in the normal Truman Show, and you were shown the Jim Carrey one, which is fake and doesn't exist.
Well, Gordo says that you're the dumb guy here, so
I think he's trying to trick us.
Wait, hold on a
But
second.
Gordo's the one who's
Wait,
always
no.
tricked you, Branson. Why would I trick you? He always tricks you.
I know what's happening. No, okay. All right. I know what's happening. Okay. I'm still getting Truman Showed, aren't I?
Well,
You're
I'm
not
still
getting
getting
Truman Showed.
This is part of the show. Where's the camera? Hello? I thought
there's
I
a
was,
camera right here,
doing
but that's because we're doing the interview.
I thought I was doing like a farewell, okay, he found out, he gets to live his
Branson,
life now.
I wish I could still do it, but the funds have run out. There's no more show.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what you would say, remember? When I started getting suspicious, what did Anna tell me? Anna told me, you know what? Nothing, you're thinking too much. It wasn't a boom mic. Because apparently, that boom mic hit me all the time while I was sleeping. I thought it was her. She said it was nothing. And apparently that's because I learned later that the show was so boring during night that they tried this thing where they woke me up in the middle of the night all of the time. With one problem or another. We're getting robbed. How many times did my house get robbed when I was 27? Well,
13
you guys did that.
times.
What, 7? There's a lot of times
Well, then
getting
we got-
robbed.
We would let you sleep. We would essentially drug you. And then you started sleepwalking on Ambien, and that was very entertaining for about a season and a half.
Oh, I don't remember any of that. Did I get hurt or anything?
Oh, yes. Many times.
Was it just like a Mr. Magoo type thing, or what?
You walked into traffic. You walked into the river.
Yeah, that crazy river we have on top of that mountain. That must have been really expensive. I guess I never really thought about
that river was actually just
how
bottled
expensive.
water. They were pouring bottles and bottles and bottles of water into it every day, and it would just fall off the mountain.
I thought it tasted like Evian.
Yeah, well, they were one of the sponsors of the show. There were signs all over the town.
Is that a real water company, or is that a fake one?
I'm drinking it right now.
I was thought.
If we were trying to convince you of something that wasn't true, would I have it conveniently on hand to prove to you?
No, that's true. I do love Evian. It's a cool, crisp, and refreshing bottle of water. One that often... Fuck, I'm doing it again. God damn it.
It's a real water company, Branson, and it's not it's not actually just a shoegaze band in the real world.
I do all these fucking commercials in my head now. Because when I was a fucking kid, you guys talked to me in commercials about Ovaltine and shit. And now when I talk about something I like, I'll be like, ooh, the nice taste of Bud Light with the crisp Pilsner aftertaste that leaves you wanting more. And everybody goes, Branson, what the fuck are you talking about? And then my buddy has to step in, fucking Dude Lunch, who I thought was named Rumbler, and he tells everyone at the bar, oh, don't worry about him. He was Truman Showed. And everybody goes, oh, and it's super embarrassing, even if everyone's cool about it. I'll go to the support group meetings later, and first of all, those are not very good. They're not good meetings. Everyone thinks everyone else is an actor. There's like 20 of us in New York alone. It's exhausting.
I know you're upset, but think of the things that we omitted from real life. All the violence, all the you were never actually in danger. The hatred, the wars, the ugliness. You didn't know what a condom was till you knew till you knew it was all a show. Not once in your life did we ever introduce those into your life.
To be fair, actually, no, there was a war that went on for about 2 years in his teenage years. There's just a staged war between two factions who just kind of showed up on the mountain.
We thought they were we thought we were right on the front. We had all those drills at school to hide under our desk.
We thought it would really do well with the baby boomers, which it did.
And it turns out Romania is not even a real country. Romania is just some country that you guys made up.
No,
Branson,
that is real.
I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to believe anything I tell you.
Well, I got a defense up now, because I was fucking Truman Showed.
You flipped out. You took off all your clothes. You started tugging at your beard, saying, "What is this thing fake? Where's the string? Where's the string? Is this thing fake too? Am I wearing a fake beard? Did you put this fake beard on me? Do you glue it onto me when I'm asleep? Is this a big fake beard?"
In my defense, when I was 24, you shaved me and gave me a fake beard, and gradually shortened the fake beard as my real hair began to grow. So I don't think I'm crazy for that one. And first of all, if my life was still the Truman Show, that's exactly what you would be saying to me right now.
I don't want to be pedantic here. I don't want to be too pedantic here, but you keep calling it being Truman Showed. But actually, Gordo started the Branson Show 10 years before the Truman Show came out. They got the idea from his show. So really, you got Branson Showed, and the Truman Show is just a Branson Show.
Listen,
we sued the production company.
If I'm talking to a woman at a bar, and I'm like, this Budweiser beer rolls as crisp and smooth as a perfectly polished boulder off of the Rocky Mountains themselves, they're going to say, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'll go, oh, I was Branson Showed. They'll say, what the fuck is that? But if I say, oh, I was Truman Showed, then they know exactly what happened.
Well, that's just because the Zing TV network was not very successful, but it was first.
It was first, and then you saw the movie, and you never made the connection. There was a period where you kept telling girlfriends and everyone that you were the real Donnie Darko. You said, "Whoa, this is all bullshit. I'm going to Donnie Darko myself," and everyone said, "What are you talking about?" And they didn't. They had to pretend that they didn't know it was a real movie that also slipped through the networks that you saw on TNT.
To be honest, Donnie Darko.
I'm going to go back in time and let a jet engine hit my room and kill me, and this will never ever happen again. I'm gonna Donnie Darko my own ass.
Donnie Darko really resonated with me, whereas the Truman Show, I thought, that's fucking stupid. No one will ever get me with that, you know?
I think it was also...
you never...
So a movie where a teenager hallucinates seeing a man in a rabbit suit and gets the power of time travel to go back in time to kill himself isn't ridiculous, but the Truman Show is?
It's art, you know? You know, Truman Show is just like 1984 stuff, you know, with all the cameras. This is real art with Donnie Darko.
I mean, you're
resonates.
You're selling the Branson show short here, I think, by still calling it the Truman Show, because, like, yeah, nobody listened to the Velvet Underground when they were out there, but everyone who listened to the Velvet Underground started a band, and it's kind of like everyone who watched the Branson show. There weren't many of them, but they all started a Truman Show when they saw the Branson show.
The Velvet Underground in the Branson show was actually a ska band.
They were all ska bands. The Beatles were a ska band. I listened to so much ska. I hate ska. Nobody on the set do you like ska? Why'd you pick ska?
Because I thought it would be, I don't know how to put this. If I were to make it all shoegaze, you would think
my
too
brain
hard.
would
You'd
reject,
be too smart.
Yeah,
You'd be too
yeah.
smart.
And instead, I'm just walking around humming to myself, "Oh, I want to knock on wood. And something to do if I could."
Do you still think you can Donnie Darko yourself?
I mean, if I had that kind of power, but that's not realistic. Even though that's exactly what I said.
You do
that's
understand.
exactly
So
what I said.
Understand. Okay.
It's exactly what I said to the Truman Show, too. So to me, in my mind, it's equally valid that if Donnie Darko's, or if Truman Show's real, right? And I got Truman Showed, maybe there's something to this Donnie Darko thing,
What about the time at the movie theater when you went into the ladies' room by accident and it was a dressing room for actresses?
I just thought that's what women's bathrooms were like. I just thought they had like couches and, those desks,
the lights
with the
all around the mirrors.
Yeah, what are those? Yeah, the desks with the lights and all the cost. I just thought that's, I thought women are the fairer sex. They should they should get a better. I don't know. Now that you say it out loud, it sounds like I'm a fucking idiot. So, thanks for that. Not only was I tricked, I'm a fucking idiot.
You said it, Branson. You said it, not me. I never thought you were an idiot. I said
and
you were
I don't
special.
understand. Even now, I don't understand to this day. When I found that Drops of Jupiter CD by Train, right? I found the Train single CD. It had 2 songs on it, Drops of Jupiter and some B-side that I just skipped over every time. I hid that under my mattress, and you guys like flipped the whole house to find that. It was the flimsiest premise too. You had my dad said he's back to life and he needs the CD, and I wouldn't tell him. And you guys, why'd you work so hard to make sure I don't listen to Train? It's a great song. Is all I had.
It lit a flame inside you, did it not?
Yeah, it did.
I put that CD on purpose. I knew how it would affect you and how you would respond if it was threatened to be taken away. And you fought for it.
It's a beautiful song. I love it.
You didn't seem to glom onto the ska cover that they gave you 2 weeks later.
I was so sick of ska at that point. I was so sick of ska.
I mean, 40% of the people in the town you lived in were horn players. You had to figure that...
There was a ska bar. There's a bar just for ska. I hated going to the ska side of town.
You had to wear checkered shoes just to get in.
It was exhausting. The ska part of town made the rockabilly part of town look like the math rock part of town, if you know what I mean. A lot of white music, really, now that I'm thinking back on it.
Well, the town was 100% white.
Yeah. Perfected.
I don't know what Gordo intended by that, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Having an all-white town named Perfect Town. I don't know what... Because let me tell you something about Perfect Town. That town was anything but
what?
A town.
Oh, okay.
It was more of a set. It was perfect, though. It was a beautiful town. It was perfect. It seems crazy in retrospect that you could build a town like that on top of a cliffed mountain in South America.
You did have you had the coworker, Louis Algiers. He was a black gentleman.
Oh yeah, he was a black gentleman, but he also I think that was like right when Green Mile was big. So you guys kept having him explain stuff to me. You know, he's like now, telling me, how to hit golf clubs or something, but I don't know what he was saying.
Perhaps I created the whole town to be white to reflect how society would be if it should come to that and the dangers that lie within.
Well,
That's
how
what I
am
meant.
I gonna
That's
know
definitely what I meant.
Do you know how embarrassed I was the first time I saw a Chinese guy? I had no idea what he was. I had only ever seen one black guy who my mother, Padme, told me that he had a condition. That's why he was. They didn't tell me they told me it was a medical thing. I saw all these different races. I had no idea what it was.
And the viewers at home could see that in your innocence knew that they were no different from you, and it was your parents.
Well, I knew they were different from me because I knew they hadn't been raised in a fake town to film me, my whole life.
Well, you didn't know that you were in a fake town.
Well, I didn't know then, but I know now that I was in a fake town.
I'm actually, I'm kind of on Gordo's side in this one when Star Wars Episode 1 came out and they paid to do a lot of promotion on the show, Sebulba showed up and you were actually quite inviting to him, even though he was like an alien species. It taught you something about diversity.
He said he didn't like ska, and I immediately was like, this is a guy I got to pay attention to. It was also, I saw the clip, and to you guys, it looks like I was talking to Sebulba, but that was a man in a green onesie.
Well,
doing motion
the Star Wars
capture.
people hadn't actually finished the character design of Sebulba by the time they wanted to advertise, and they were just going to fix it in post. So, I mean, a green guy still seems like a different race, right?
Well, I remember thinking, this guy seems like a unique creature. He seems like a unique thinker, and I want to follow him around and pick his brain, right?
And you did.
Well, he mostly said he wanted to race places. He was a racer. But, our town just really had the one road that led from, ska side of town.
Yet you accepted him even though he murdered a child.
Well, I didn't see him murder the kid, They didn't even let me watch the movie. I wouldn't have even recognized him, maybe his voice. But that would have been a crazy stretch. And let me say this again. I did not think that the Sebulba alien was a real person. Like I did know enough about the world to understand that, And like now I'm beginning to think and you can tell me whatever. I'm beginning to think I'm getting Truman Showed again here. There's no way for me to prove, right, that you guys aren't filming this for a Truman Show right now.
I mean, I'm not even affiliated with the Zing TV network. I came into this new organization through Risco, and I'm sort of doing this on behalf of the Zing Podcast Network, but I don't even have anything to do with Gordo or his people at all.
Well, see, okay, so great. You told me your reasoning. Exactly. Now, pretend you were an actor and your goal was to trick me. What would you tell me?
I would say that, you know what? You're right. I guess it is all fake. And then I would have you like walk into a wall and it wouldn't fall over. And then you would hurt your nose and you'd keep hitting the wall and you'd smash your head into it and it would hurt because it's not a fake wall.
Wait, so if that's what you would do if you were an actor?
Yeah, because you learned your lesson the one time. So now I make sure to have real walls to really screw with you.
I didn't learn my lesson. There wasn't a lesson to learn. I had done nothing wrong. I got tricked to spend my whole life wasted on a pretty unpopular TV show. I get recognized every once in a while in like New York. And then over the summer, we went to I went to Macedonia. Apparently, that's a big Risco area. They all have the Risco tablets. Everyone knew me. They had pictures of me hanging up everywhere. It was super weird, man.
Your life was wasted. Tim Burton directed a whole season where you got to be roommates with Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper. You didn't find that you had a blast.
I didn't know they were celebrities. I thought they were some cool guys. I thought I was hanging out with some interesting new guys.
Which is what they were to you, which was the point. You didn't need to know celebrities.
You were the star.
Yeah, remember when you went to the doctor together with Marilyn Manson and you both got your ribs removed together? Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a formative memory?
I thought I was getting one of my teeth filled, and you guys knocked me out and took one of my... Where is that rib? Do you have it?
Rob Zombie bought it. It's in his home.
I didn't agree to sell it. I didn't agree. Where's like a contract? I get flabbergasted, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I can't believe everybody let that happen to me. Where were you guys?
I was there the whole way, but I let...
Not you. You're the trickster, right?
There was no tricks. It was all real.
I mean,
real
it wasn't real.
Make. Real is what you make real.
If I go to, Marilyn Manson, I'm like, you remember when we went to, we were both freshmen at Perfecton University.
Well, he was about a 37-year-old freshman.
Yeah, but he had a childlike curiosity. So I'm like, well, he looks older, but he's got a childlike curiosity. So push, just seems a little rough. Is all I'm saying. A little callous. And, just like even like a 10% on like reruns or something. Like, come on, man.
Well, here's the thing, Branson.
I got a studio apartment.
I mean,
in
to be fair,
in Peru of all, I can't even, can you get me a work, like permanent lodging in America or something?
No, I mean, like I said earlier, the Zing TV network went completely bankrupt and then got bought out. This isn't even the same company anymore. But even be that as it may, it's like when you think back on the show, it had terrible ratings. Like no one was watching it, right?
No, that's not my fault.
But because almost no one was watching it, it's almost like you weren't even being filmed. So is it even okay for you to be traumatized by that because it was barely popular?
Well, they still were constantly...
I resent that. It was popular.
Well, it wasn't really popular in any sense of people watching it.
Okay, maybe not until the 17th season, but after that it had about 37 million concurrent viewers at all times. That was the average.
Yeah, but like 16.5 million of those were bots in Eastern Europe that were just trying to juice the numbers.
This was before the age of bots, as you call them.
You were okay. That's because in the last 2 years of my life in Perfect Town, you wanted me to find out, right? Is that season 17? You guys wanted me to find out.
We gave you psychedelics. I inserted phrases everywhere. Like
it made work very hard. It made working as a soda jerk very hard.
I tried to make you watch The Matrix every day in any way I could.
Do you know what? I thought I was schizophrenic, and I went to the psychiatrist and I said, I think there is a big possibility that my life, is a TV show, and he said that's crazy. You're fine. And I'm like, if that's crazy, if that's fine, then shouldn't I get medication? They wouldn't give me any medicine for it. I'm like, I'm obviously very crazy.
I mean, the viewers at home realized that the doctor was winking every time. He was winking right into the camera like, that's crazy.
I was wondering.
Wink, wink.
I saw him winking. I said, what are you winking at? Is that the TV show? He goes, no, that's a crazy thought. That's not true. I said, well, then I'm having crazy thoughts and I need some treatment. And then he just winked and he said, you'll be fine.
And then he just started advertising Oscar Mayer at you for a minute. And you just
And then I get home and all of a sudden it's like, great, I'm high on LSD again. Again. I didn't even eat anything. I don't know how they got it in me. Tried to walk back to the psychiatrist, but he's all the way in the ska part of town. I don't want to hear the horns at night.
But when you were on LSD was the only time you really appreciated ska.
Nobody wants to listen to ska when they're high on LSD.
Well, everyone just thought you would start to like it eventually. It was kind of a mini experiment within an experiment. The CIA funded like half of this show. You
know what? I just want to say this. If you guys are in on it and my life is still being filmed, listen, you're actors. I don't blame you. Right? You're doing a job. It's probably very hard to find work. I'm looking at both of you. I'm trying to maintain eye contact, all right? But let's say you are actors. Maybe there's some other way you could let me know without hurting your career. Or maybe, hey, listen, you tell me you're an actor now. Maybe I don't know, I'll write a play for you or something. I don't know. Just what's up here?
Well, I can assure you that everything happening right now is real, but it's actually
But
insensitive.
that's exactly what you would say.
No, I
right?
think no. It's insensitive of you to think you're being Branson showed a second time, because there's actually a group of people in the real world in which you are now living who think that they are being Branson showed because of your show. Like, you have created a delusion that these people are now suffering from, and there's real people suffering from it, and you're making light of that by saying, "Oh, I suffer from Branson show delusion still." No, you don't.
It is it's a bit cynical.
There's like 10 guys I hang out with, and we were all Branson showed. They call it, Truman showed. They call it something different, you know? You got the Gary show, you got the Laura show, right? You got the Johnson show, right? Everyone has
knockoffs. Nothing beats the original.
Okay, but still, I tell you what, here's where we're at mentally. Just in case I know you weren't ever worried about that, but we go to these meetings, there's 20s of us, and it's like, I still feel like I'm being filmed all the time. And then somebody else has to chip in, oh, I feel like I'm being filmed all the time too. You know, maybe, and everybody's accusing each other of, you know, oh, and your cell phone's recording this, right? And then we have cameras here. So it got to the point where we have to have these meetings, right? We have to have them on government property. We have to shave all of our hair. We have to strip down completely nude, right? And then we have to sit Indian style on the ground because we're afraid of microphones and chairs. Well, and then it's like, well, okay, they're going to put microphones in the ground, so we need to do that. So then we have to go to a giant body of water, and I can doggy paddle, but it gets hard to be like, naked in the ocean, in the water, and you're trying to talk about, I'm the real Truman Show, and everyone there thinks the other guy's an actor.
Even though I can assure you that you are living in reality now. Think about this. If I was a guy who was making a Branson show, think about any other show. Like, you know how on Chopped they have like Chopped Champions, where the Chopped champions come back and compete against each other? Well, if I was making a new Branson show, what I would want to do is get all of the previous people who had a Gary show or a Branson show or whatever together in one room, and that would be my new show, would be having all of you guys together talking about it, and then wondering if it's a new show when it is. So that's what I would do if I was doing that, but I'm not doing that. So actually, you're in the real world, but when you go to meetings like that, that's like the craziest thing you're doing, because it's almost like what we would want you to do. Does that make sense?
See, yeah, that makes sense. And how I would react to that situation is I would do this. I'd walk in and I'd say, oh, I don't care. Nothing of this bothers me. I don't think it matters. It's all bullshit. Who cares anyway? And I'd lull you into a sense of relaxing. And then boom, strip all my clothes off, rip out all of my hair, and go running out the door. Immediately find some government property where I know you can't film at. Area 51, one of the other areas. And, then I would finally be like, all right, now I'm safe. Now I'm not being videotaped. But then, what if the government's in on it? It's a never-ending well. You get what I'm saying here?
Well, like I said earlier, the CIA did fund.
I don't buy that you fully dislike your past or are ashamed of it or don't find some amusement from it. There are videos that surface from the New Year's party of you and all those Truman Show guys. You're taking a front-facing video on your cell phone, your iPhone, which you became accustomed to very quickly, and you're taking videos for Instagram, and you were drunk. You were saying, look at me, no, I'm filming the Branson Show. You're sticking your tongue out, flipping off the camera, wagging your tongue. Wazza, it's me, Branson. Welcome back to the Branson Show. Oh, it's me, I'm filming me, it's my life, look at me. And you're laughing, and all of you were completely inebriated.
Yeah, we're all inebriated all the time. Like, a lot of the other guys, it wasn't LSD or mescaline or whatever, but you guys gave me a lot of mescaline. Like, all the time. I'm still not, you said so I would find out, but that just seems like...
Did you not enjoy it?
No, it's great. I loved being on psychedelic drugs all of the time, while everyone else acted like I was completely sober, so I didn't even have to freak out about it. I thought everyone in town was so fucking stupid, because I'd be at my job as like a soda jerk, and there'd be soda all over the floor, and I'd forget to be mean to people, and I'd say like, how are you or stuff, and everybody would just act like nothing happened. I was like, these guys are fucking dumb. I'm high as hell off of mescaline, and I'm making a mess everywhere. I got root beer all over my smock.
Wait, when you said
I
you
look
forgot
like
to
a
be
jackass.
mean. Did you think a soda jerk was a jerk?
That's what he. Okay, that's his thing. That's Gordo, right? He must have told them to do that or something.
I haven't done anything wrong.
And you never
When I got
questioned
to the
why they
job,
had a
they
soda
said-
jerk at a place where canned soda already was invented, and you didn't need to actually pour it from the tap. You just gave people cans at like a Lexus dealership or whatever.
Well, I got a lot of things wrong because the town was fake. Everyone drove Model T cars only. It was very weird to see like a sporty sedan. I thought ska was like a huge deal in the real world.
Well, to be fair, it was
Nobody
actually.
likes
At the
it.
time when that plot line was introduced, it was a very big deal. It was in Tony Hawk. I hope you know who that is at least.
Oh, no, because they didn't let me play any video games. I didn't learn about Halo till like last year. I would have done way less
And
masturbating.
what did you do? What did you do? You immediately got a tattoo of Halo.
Yeah, I liked Cortana.
You're acting like an adolescent who is rebelling.
Well, you know, I kind of feel like, and if I'm being completely honest here, this may be selfish, but I really think I should just get a pass on all my behavior, right? Like
I think
I was-
it sounds to me like you were much happier during the show. And what would make everyone happy is if we somehow reset your memory and started making it again.
Nah, I don't want to do it again. I'm
I
good now. I got a lot of friends. Dude, lunch.
Well, it sounds like
all
you
of the
do
20
want
other
to do it
Truman
again
Show
because you
guys.
were saying that you should just be allowed to have bad behavior because
No,
you
I'm
were
being
raised like
paranoid.
a weirdo. What you want is to be on a show if you don't want to have to be an adult.
There's one of the guys I hang out with in the support group. He was raised by a scientist, and they filmed all of this, and he was raised with a monkey as a brother so that he would pick up ape-like traits, you know? And that guy, he got $11 million when that thing went to courts, you know? And I'm not getting nothing.
Well, his show wasn't on
This-
Zing.
It was on the Science Channel. He would eat bugs off the monkey would eat bugs off of him. He still throws his shit. He's an ape man. Like, you get me? He got 11 mil. I can't even get like, I have a studio apartment in South America.
See, your story doesn't make any sense here, though, really, because you're claiming you think you're getting Branson showed for a second time. But if that was true, the $11 million he got wouldn't even be real. So your argument doesn't even work.
It does work. It works. It makes sense as long as you don't twist it to try to sound like a smart guy.
If we were making a second Branson show right now, you just want us to make it a little bit nicer for you?
I mean, maybe a little more money, you know. Maybe a nicer house, one that doesn't fall over. And maybe like 18 hours a day, you know, instead of 24. So I can like, this may just be the fact that I'm in my 30s now, but I really don't want to masturbate in front of millions of people.
Let me tell you how stupid your theory sounds that you're on a second Branson show. What if I presented an alternate theory that said this podcast we're doing right now about the Branson show is actually a fictitious instance of a different podcast where 3 different guys pretend to do different podcasts every week, and they are just pretending like this is all something that happened to some guy called Branson, but it's actually all an illusion. And within that illusion is the illusion of the Branson show, which is like a sub-illusion. And none of this is real at all, and it's just some stupid shit that some guys are saying.
That would never fly.
that's
That would
crazy,
never
right?
make
Never
sense.
fly.
And that's how crazy
such
what
a
you're
flimsy, That's such a flimsy and thin, you know, concept for a podcast. I can't even see in a fake universe that working.
So then how stupid that sounds to you is how stupid your theory sounds to me about there being a second Branson show.
Well, let me ask you this. How come you don't know there's I'm sorry, sir. What's your name?
Oh, Holland Panhandle, which I forgot to say in my intro.
Holland. You know, what if there was a Holland show? What if this was the Holland show right now?
Well, that seems highly improbable because I already know about the concept of having a Branson show, so I'd be on the lookout.
Well, have you ever seen the movie The Truman Show?
Well, I thought it had Bill Murray in it, so apparently I haven't seen it.
I'm beginning to think that, now just follow with me here, all right? I'm beginning to think that you think that my life is lost in translation with Bill Murray, when in reality it's a movie you haven't seen yet.
So when I said
Like,
the Jim Carrey
Gordo,
version
back
was
me up
fake,
here. Am I crazy?
I think you're right on that, but also Holland would know that this is real life. I mean, the sun is always out in this world. There's seasons in the show we created for you. It snowed, it rained, there's sleet, tornadoes, hurricanes, very scary stuff. And in this world, the minimum wage is only $25 an hour. What kind of crazy world would have it that low?
That's right.
There's a lot of soda jerks with 2-story houses. I'll tell you what. That's what kind of world that was.
$25 an hour. That's how you know this is the real world, because that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right, because the sun
Free
is always up.
healthcare
It was easy in the Branson show to fake the sun going down because you could just block it out. But you could never have a fake sun that's always up because it's always there.
Well, it was like an LED thing, and you just put some.
No, that's
high
not
wattage.
possible. It'd be so hard to fake it.
Well, I don't know. You sound pretty convinced that it's impossible to fake it. So.
Yeah, well, it is impossible to fake it because it's science. I've learned science all my life from reading books.
So you think what? You're immune to getting tricked?
Of course I'm immune to getting tricked. I'm a journalist. I'm after the
All
truth.
right. You're a journalist for men that have been Truman Showed, and you haven't seen the Truman Show.
On the Zing Podcast Network, I might add.
On a Risco tablet.
On a
yeah.
Risco
We're
tablet,
all
which you
familiar.
can get at your local Risco outlet store.
They were going to put it on Quibi, but that, went bottom up. At least I got out before Quibi, huh?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Is this maybe
It
you are
stands
on a
for
second
Quick
Branson
Bites. I really hope not, but at
Maybe
this
he's
point,
doing a show on me.
I
Maybe
can't
I'm
prove
the
it
star
wrong.
now.
I can't prove it wrong. I can tell you that I'm not doing a show on you, but I would respect you more if you assumed that I was lying, Because that's the mentality you have to catch yourself getting Truman Show. You have to assume
What if
all
the
your
whole
friends
time
know.
when I was doing the Branson show, it was you that was calling the shots, and everyone was watching a show of me directing a show about you?
But I was a baby, and you guys made me sign that contract where I said this was okay when I was 1 month old and it was a big X. So I was a baby.
It was
I
completely
couldn't,
legal.
I couldn't have been in charge. It's not about it being legal. It's about morality or whatnot. But
I could tell you both of your biological parents were very famous movie stars.
Oh yeah, any hints?
No.
All right.
It's on
Well,
the
that's
contract.
okay. I don't need to know. I still see my fake mom all the time. I show up at her house. She says it was just a job to her, But I'm just,
Do we not all play roles in our everyday lives? Are we not all actors?
Oh, Shakespeare. He said every actor is on the stage.
Is that what Shakespeare said?
Yeah, at least that's what my copy says. Look right here.
Quotations. Every actor is on the stage. William Shakespeare. That's what he said?
Yeah, look right here. I've got a copy of his play.
Wait,
It says it.
Can I clear something up real quick? Because I still have this problem where I don't know what was real and what wasn't. William Shakespeare was in a ska band, right?
Ska was not around. No, Ska was not around.
Okay. All right. When was ska invented? Because for some reason, in my history textbooks at school, there was a whole chapter on 16th century
Well,
ska.
I mean, okay, so
1990.
Shakespeare wasn't in a ska band, but the way that he used his words to tell a story, it's kind of like he was the original ska guy. That's like what a cool teacher might tell you.
How does that make any sort of sense?
Well, that's a way to get kids to be interested in Shakespeare. And I think that some of the teachers tried that.
But
on
no
Branson.
kids listen to ska. No one listens to ska.
But they
now.
did when
It's a-
Branson was a kid. So they tried that one on him.
Maybe they were just hoping I'd really like ska, but it just never stuck with me.
Well, I thought it would be interesting to pick a genre for the show that no one in the real world enjoys, and make it the only thing to enjoy.
Well, you guys had the seedy math rock part of town, but every time I tried to go to the math rock part of town, you had the one thug in the town trying to rob
that was
me.
also kind of like a contrast, because in the real world, math rock is possibly the most popular genre there is.
Really?
Yes.
And now, when,
that's how Holland would know this is the real world. On top of the such a low minimum wage, and he hears math rock at every station he turns to.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's why
so-
every mainstream publication like Time Magazine is saying like the time signature of the year. Like there's so many different time signatures used in popular music that it's like, oh, this year it's 13/16, and last year it was like 9/8. And it's just part of mainstream
Wouldn't
culture,
that be something?
and everyone's used to that.
Wouldn't that be something? They actually picked that signature for time. Oh my gosh.
So let me say this. If I go to see a math rock show in real life, it's still going to be in a really bad neighborhood, though, like a really dangerous neighborhood.
No.
No, it's gonna be at Madison Square Garden.
So
Madison
math rock,
Square Garden.
really?
coincidentally, the only big venue I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Because to this day, if I hear math rock, I lock all my doors.
The Super Bowl show
God.
every year is about 7 different math rock acts and lasts about 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh man, that sounds not very great.
Maybe because that's not the world you came from. You'd much rather hear ska.
No, I wouldn't. I don't like ska. I never did.
You like ska.
Rumbler liked ska, and
No,
you
he
know
likes shoegaze.
No,
his name is Dude Lunch.
Dude Lunch likes shoegaze. Rumbler, the character, who was my best friend, and then when I found out the show was fake, my best friend became Dude Lunch.
So you prefer a
immediately.
halftime show that's all shoegaze?
Dude, I don't even. I've just learned what the Super Bowl was. I just learned what the Super. Apparently, I guess they didn't have the rights to show football or something. The NFL was very litigious. All right, so I just learned what football is. It seems like a completely made up sport. I don't know why it's so popular. You
Are
guys
all
made
sports
me.
not made up?
You guys, the biggest thing in our town was college lacrosse. I'd watch like John Hopkins versus Syracuse in college lacrosse.
And you were happy.
That was
Well,
like our
it was
Super-
similar. It was similar to ska, where the only people who care about ska talk about ska. Similar with lacrosse. No one cares about lacrosse unless they play it.
No one. Yeah. Whereas math rock is like,
Well, that's the biggest thing on earth right now.
well, I guess football then, huh?
Well,
Mozart
football's not
said-
We
that
couldn't
big.
play. We
Mozart,
couldn't play
Mozart
baseball
said
either
himself.
because if a ball went over the cliff, we were done.
Mozart said, "The day that math rock arrives is the day I no longer have to create music."
And he
Wait a
lived
second.
to
You
see
guys
that
let me
day.
watch the. You guys let me watch the movie Rudy all the time, and I never thought about what sport they were playing, ever, like a single time.
Well, you thought it was fictional, right?
realized that.
It was just a fake
Oh my
sport
God.
made up for the
I
movie.
must have
was-
looked like such a fucking idiot.
It's like how
was a
Tolkien made up
science-
the elf languages
science
and
fiction
stuff.
film.
They made up that movie. They made up that game.
Why'd you guys let me drink beer so young? I was drinking beer at like 13. Was there a reason for that? And my dad was dead.
I mean,
so
that's
I
just the
started
legal drinking
beer.
age in Peru, and technically we had to let you do it because it was Peru.
Well, that's,
And by we, I mean Gordo, because I wasn't on the set.
And we didn't
I'm pretty
make,
familiar with Peru. I'm a citizen of Peru. It's a lot of
was-
the other stuff I have trouble with.
it's nigh impossible for us to keep alcohol from the universe that we formulated, because at some point you're going to leave something to sit on its own or ferment, and you're going to discover alcohol on your own, much like a caveman would. So we decided, well, there's no point in taking it out. He's just going to make some eventually by accident.
So you were worried about me finding alcohol, so your preemptive strike was to just give me all the beer I wanted at 13 years old.
Yes, we countered it.
And I was
thought it
always
worked.
like, I'm very unsupervised right now. Like, who should be watching me? And it turns out everyone was watching me, and I was just a shitty little
So
kid.
you're never in danger, as I told you.
I was on mescaline and beer since I was 13 years old.
Are you alive today and talking to me right now?
Yeah, but they did an X-ray of my liver, man, and it looks like Steve Buscemi's eyelids. It's fucked up.
Steve Buscemi, was he the star of The Truman Show?
You gotta see the Truman Show.
All right, well,
just do yourself a favor.
Though it
Holland.
is a ripoff, it is very well done.
okay, well, maybe I'll go check that movie out. I mean, I think, Branson, we've worked through your problems a lot here in this hour. I think we've actually accomplished a lot in an hour. People watching this interview have learned a lot about what you've been dealing with these last 6 months. Gordo, thank you for being here and helping Branson to sort of dredge up some of these feelings and these memories.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
You know what? I think I'm going to get out of here, but it was a
Go grab a
exquisite-
DVD.
I will go. You know what? I'm going to watch The Truman Show right now.
All right. Well, then we'll see you later. Thank you,
All right.
Holland.
Thank you.
All right, subject Holland has left the room. Moving
Is
in,
he
the
out,
door's
is he out
closed.
the building? Gina, is he out the building? Tell me. Give me a confirmation. He's out.
Oh, fuck.
That's a
God
wrap. Good job,
All right,
folks.
good job.
I think
We
he bought
did
it.
I think he 100% bought it. Hey, somebody stop him from seeing the Truman Show.
We're right on track. We're right on track.
Somebody stop him from seeing the Truman Show.
He's not going to make the connection. Trust me. This is exactly what we want. We talked about this. We planned out all the speculations, all the different diversions that this could go down, and all the different roads. The algorithm. This is the beautiful thing about doing this time around. Is the beautiful computers that we have now. Incredible technology, and I think that people at home, you're going to really enjoy this.
Oh, you guys should have gave him the fake journalism award. Now he doesn't even research anything.
Oh, whoa, hey guys, sorry, I just came back into the room for a second. I forgot my little hat that has like the little whirly thing on the top that's normal for all adults to wear in this world.
Yeah, it's right here sitting on your
cool,
chair.
yeah, thanks. Okay, I'm going to grab that. All right.
See, that's weird to me.
All right, now I'm out of here. Later.
All right.
He can't forget that because of the sun that's always out.
You wait, in his world, he thinks the sun is always up?
Well, like I said, he thinks the minimum wage is $25.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Thinks that's normal. I mean, man, I think that since you had this happen to you, that you're awesome at this.
Oh, I didn't have it happen to me.
Then, who did?
Him, Holland. We're tricking him.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm getting to my own head.
It is interesting to ask, though. This could be a second level. They could be Truman showing us.
Hey guys, sorry, I came back one more time just thinking because the minimum wage is $25 an hour, I have to pay you guys both $25 for being here. So here's some checks.
Oh, thank you so much.
Here's some checks. I'm going to get back out of here. Sorry for coming back.
Holland, real quick, who's the president of the United States right now?
Barack Obama's in his 4th term right now. I'm going to head on my way out. Later.
All right, have a good one.
Perfect. Lock that fucking door. Do not let him back in.
Lock the fucking door, please. All right, can we close it up here?
Travis, can I get a bottle of water? I'm like, my throat's like that.
Am I getting
over here.
I'm getting a lunch, right? I'm getting a hot lunch with this.
They said they're going to give it. They said they're going to bring it. Travis,
what'd the union say?
What do you think? What do they ever say?
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourselves. Exactly.
All
okay.
Right.
All right.
Well, I'm getting out of here. Yeah.
I am fucking cooked. Let's go.
All right. That's a wrap, everybody.
This is not a bit. I'm not doing a bit. It's exhausting to suggest that I'm doing a bit. This is Charles from E1, and I'm just doing the thing you have to deal with sometimes now, where we tell you about the other stuff we're doing. I'm going to put out a self-titled album as Solips on March 24th, which features a bunch of E1 adjacent musician friends like Dan Beckner, Nate Roos, and Robin Hatch. And it's your job to buy it on Bandcamp or listen to it on Spotify or whatever, or at least lie to me and tell me you did. I'll put the links in the episode description so that even the average podcast listener who is lower than a dog and stupider than a worm or dog can find it. Got it? Okay, now let's do the episode like normal. Following is an archived podcast presented by the Branson and Hudson Foundation for Podcast Recovery. This podcast is entitled Pleasureman. It is the first and only episode of the podcast. Welcome to episode 1.
Hello, guys. It's so good to see you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Watch this. Watch the floor. The floor is new. I'm already recording. The floor is new, though, so be careful. You gotta take your shoes off, guys. You mind? Take your shoes off. All right, the floor is all brass. It's all brass, so be careful walking on it, okay? It's a little malleable, so as long as you don't stomp or jump or turn directions too quickly, it should be fine. So just do me a favor, and if you guys are walking, just don't change direction in here, okay? Because when you pivot, it leaves a divot, so don't, like, don't plant your feet.
These things are already on? Oh, I just clip it on. I just clip it on my shirt.
Feel it. It's clip it right on there. I got the microphones here.
Pretty nice brass floor. I mean, if you're going for a soft metal, I would have gone with gold, but the brass
Everything
is nice
is brass in here. Gold is like laid out. Everything is brass. It's gorgeous. Look at the centerpiece there. It's all brass. But like, you got to be real careful when handling it, guys, because even I got these brass cups. You squeeze it a little bit too hard, they will.
See, I think gold would be a little bit indulgent. Brass is modest.
Exactly. Like, anyone can get brass. So watch out
Well,
for the dogs.
Silver might have been a little more firm. But
Who's a good boy? Watch out for the dogs here. You guys remember Elvis and Carmine? No biting, okay? No biting, guy. Who's a good boy? Who isn't going to bite anyone today? That's right, you. All right, take your shoes off. Yeah, let's try to do that. And remember, guys, let's not try to snap or whistle. Those are triggers for Carmine. And if you talk too high-pitched, Elvis will lunge. He's a lunger, and he can jump. He may not look it, but he can jump, like, right to, like, belly level, and he'll take a bite at belly level, so, like, don't talk too high-pitched. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I'll try my best.
All right, I got the perfect spot for us to go. I got the 3 chase lounges in my reflection room. So here, got everything all centered here. We're all ready to go. Gentlemen, I'm so excited to have anyone here. We never actually discussed, what are we going to call this podcast?
What is this? What is this thing? What is this whole
We ta-
idea that you have?
We talked about this at, it was post-brunch, right? The post-brunch lunch. And we were talking about, leisure, and alternative lifestyles, and people will want to hear about, what we're doing
God, that was
all
like
day.
45 minutes ago, and it feels like weeks ago.
But I got it all set up. I sent in for it all. I got all the equipment here. But
I'm glad your servants had time to set up these microphones for us. It's really nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, technically they're Amy's servants, but it doesn't. It's. They'll still respond to me when I talk. So, guys, I guess we should say our names. I'm sorry, this is the first time doing this. I'm so confused. For everyone at home, my name is Vic Pomegranate. I am joined here by my 2 great friends, fellow men of leisure, Toledo, St. John. Toledo, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm independently wealthy. I think we can get into how and why maybe in a little bit. But, we've all become friends because we just live here in these decadent mansions and enjoy our nice homes and the rare things we own. And there's kind of a kinship in that,
Yeah, where life is for the living and no one's living more than
we just
us.
want to feel good all the time.
Exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with treating yourself. Having a massage, drinking some oolong tea, maybe getting a little bit of a peach ginger blend in there to spice it up, and then, going out to eat to a nice restaurant, having some crudo, perhaps, maybe some scallops, things like that. That's essentially the vibe I was going for here. And then, of course, I have to introduce my great friend Loomis. Loomis, how are you doing? Tell the listener. Tell them about yourself. Don't be shy.
Well, Vic, thank you. I'm Loomis Contreras. Have you guys seen The Great Gatsby?
Oh, yes.
That's basically who
I
I
haven't
am.
just seen it, I live it.
Oh.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
And it's really fun.
I'm pretty much like the great Jay Gatsby, except there's no girl I'm pining after. I think the thing I would most wish to marry is probably, is pleasure a woman? Sometimes, we know. She is.
It can be.
But it can be, yeah, sure enough.
Yeah, don't let Amy hear me say that.
I sold my company 5 years ago, and I've been a full-time man of pleasure since, pretty much. It was called Loomis Industries, and it was an industrial company. I was able to, amass quite. I think I'll break it up and I will not disclose my location of my grave so no one can rob
that's
it.
smart. That's
Well, maybe
smart.
you should leave some clues, some really cryptic clues, so that if someone's smart enough to get all of them, then they can
Well, I
rob
will
it, but they deserve it.
also. I think maybe I'll bury myself with a lot of poison. Maybe a bunch of jars of poison will be in there, so people will be too scared.
Oh,
to
like
try
the
to rob it.
pharaohs. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though. When they are about to cover the casket, they should loosen up those jars. Otherwise, they're not going to get poisoned. Like you should.
Well, they might see big purple jars with a skull and crossbones on it that says poison on it, and they might go, "Whoa, we better stay away from this."
Well, I don't know if they've
Like, I would-
already dug you up. Then I
got a
imagine.
pretty good poison guy. I think that he'll be able to set me up pretty good.
Well, I think that's a great idea. Loomis.
Maybe
but
one of the jars of poison needs to be an exploding jar of poison just to make sure it gets
That's-
on
Perhaps
them.
I'll
kind
dip
of
all of
what
my.
I was
Maybe
saying.
I'll have them dip all my gold and money in poison.
Ooh, now that's or you could burn it.
Wow.
You could always burn your money.
No, but it needs to be there to show how rich he was. You can't get
Well,
rid of
that's
it.
a good idea. Maybe I'm cremated with everything. That's a fantastic idea, Vic.
I really, that is an idea, but I really like Toledo's idea where you sort of national treasure yourself and you leave a bunch of clues. That could be a lot of fun. I mean, for somebody. I mean, it sounds like a lot of work, but I think somebody would enjoy that. I'd like to, maybe watch if they had like an HBO Max documentary on you and your secret money and everybody's trying to find it. They're talking about it and I almost got it, but then there was a poison. That'd be great television.
Perhaps I spend all of my money right before I die. So it turns out there's no fortune when they find it.
Oh, that'd be genius. That'd be too, because that'd be like a moral. You'd be like the scorpion that stings the frog's back
Well, I'm more like the Great Gatsby.
because
but-
he wasn't swimming fast enough.
Well, you also mentioned earlier the pharaohs of yore. You could also get yourself mummified with all your money. Spend every dollar you got to get the most fancy mummification in gold and silver and jewels. And, that'd be pretty
Maybe
cool.
buy one of the pyramids too, I'm sure.
Well,
in
Yeah.
Toledo.
I mean, I know there's some for rent. If you check on Zillow, there's always like a few Egyptian pyramids up there.
What you could do, right, is you could take, your money and you could buy the biggest diamond you can. And then people will open the casket and they'll think, oh, the real money was like the friends, and you'll leave a note that says all that matters is heart. And then maybe if they open up your body, they could go to where your heart is and there'd be the diamond there. So
Oh. Now everyone they'll be like, how is he alive if his heart was a diamond? What an incredible man.
Well, I don't think they'd assume that was your actual heart. I think that they'd assume you'd have to trust your mortician to not just run off with the diamond.
I could trust him very well for the right price. Trust me.
Oh, well,
Although I think that Vic brings up a good point here of who would be better at business and making money than a man whose own heart is a diamond.
that's true.
And what woman would not dream of being with a man whose heart she couldn't break?
Ooh.
Wait, women dream about breaking men's hearts and then they don't get
Well, of course.
broken.
Why do you think I'm not married?
Oh, well, I thought you didn't want to share.
But I think all three of us. This goes for all three of us. I fall in love with every woman I meet.
Oh,
We're counting like attractive women.
right.
Those are the only women I
Every
talk to very rarely.
viable woman, not just
Right.
like some,
I fall in love nearly every
Right.
day.
not just lust. Women that deserve it.
No, it's lust, but lust and love are very tightly entwined with each
I
other.
read
They're
about
basically the
that.
same thing.
I've read about that.
Here's what I would say on that subject, which is that I am in love with my business, and my business is pleasure.
Ooh, are you? And you're strictly business.
Yeah, I'm strictly business, but my business is pleasure. But I also have another business, but I'll talk about that later. But
Well, let me introduce myself a little bit. I am the genius who came up with this idea. My name is Vic Pomegranate, and I am a kept man. I'm sort of a male geisha, so to speak. I live here in the house in the backyard of Amy Mann's house with her husband, and I am a muse. I inspire her. I take care of a few daily activities, light her cigars, pour her wine, pour her teas, and such like that. And a lot of times I lay around on a chase lounge and just inspire. That's essentially my job. I'm well compensated. I have a great life and I have a lot of free time, which I don't feel bad about enjoying in the slightest. I'm a dog dad to two wonderful hounds, Elvis and Carmine here. They're quiet now, thank God. And I was hoping, to talk a little bit about, promoting this documentary I'm working on as well. I don't want to go too into it. I know you guys are sick of it. I'm doing a documentary on the history of macaroons or macarons. I'm sorry. You would think if I'm doing a documentary on it, I could pronounce it correctly, but
well, it's better to say macaroon because if you say macaron, they're gonna think you mean like the French president.
Ah, yes. I am not doing a documentary. I'm doing a documentary on little cookies, not on an adult child who had sex with his. I don't want to get all political here. I'm going to avoid all that. Gentlemen, we have very, very busy days. A lot of people wouldn't expect that when you don't have full-time jobs. So men that have lots of time on their hands still figure out ways to have very busy schedules. And one thing I was hoping to go around is kind of shatter that stereotype of the kept man sitting around and enjoying himself all day by describing some of what our average day look like. Gentlemen, would you guys be interested?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. And as Toledo said, we're in the business of pleasure. And I just want to say that business is good lately.
Yes, I am quite enjoying my situation in life. Maybe one of you gentlemen would like to go first. Tell us, what does a day in your life look like?
Toledo, would you like to lead us, or should I begin?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's nothing too fancy in my day, really, but I mean, maybe I should begin first, though, by just letting people know a little bit about how I made this vast sum of money that you can tell that I have.
Ah, yes, change the
when
subject.
you hear about my lifestyle. Well, I think people just need to know a little background about how you can live such a life of opulence and luxury. I very famously made my money one day when me and my friends, we were just out eating some hot dogs, and we were walking across the street eating our hot dogs with, it was like the Beatles almost, but we each had a little hot dog in our mouths. We were so hungry. And we were each wearing a different color. Like I was dressed in red and my friends were dressed in yellow and green. And the Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile.
I'm sure one of you is barefoot too.
Oh, of course. But the Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile came up and ran us all over. And people thought it was like a viral stunt. But then it backed over us and then ran us over again. And pretty much took like an hour where it just kept hitting us and very violently attacking us. And, my two friends died from it.
It's horrible.
And I was just like, well, this is not right. I'm going to have to sue them now.
So much pleasure they're robbed of.
Exactly. 2 whole lifetimes of pleasure. There's nothing that could make up for their lost pleasure except for me having as much pleasure as you could expect in 3 lifetimes, right? So I took Oscar Mayer to court, and they were like, well, are we going to have to give you money? And I was like, well, how about you just give me unlimited hot dogs for life? And they were like, okay, that sounds easy. And I was like, well, I want infinity hot dogs. And they were like, well, that's too many. And I was like, okay, well, I want 10 million a day. So now they just ship me 10 million hot dogs every day. And my like little servants or workers or whatever, they take care of selling those for me. I'm basically a secondhand hot dog salesman.
Your servants.
Yeah, well, I always call them my servants, and they're like, well, you should call us like your, like your maid or your your landscaper and your like office worker, and I'm like, well,
They
you're
have to
basically
run your
servants.
business too?
Yeah, of course. And then it's just, well, I got another business I'm busy with. So it's just like, they're my servants basically. And I'm like, you guys are basically servants. And they're like, yeah, but you're not supposed to call us that, even though it's true. And I'm like, okay, fine. I
And
guess
what is your other business you're busy with?
Well, okay, I guess I can get to my schedule then, because, while they're busy selling all these hot dogs for me, I like to get up in the morning. I know some you guys get up pretty early, right? But I like to get up maybe 7 or 8 o'clock, a normal time. I like to go down to my kitchen, where the servants have set up about a dozen different Ninja coffee makers for me. They're each making a different coffee or tea, like a little symphony conducted by Rube Goldberg down there.
How many is a lot? That's I feel like is an important question.
Of teas and coffees, there's about a dozen of them.
Okay, so you have about 12 of the machines going on at once.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing: is I got a sleepy time tea. I got my
right in the morning,
caffeine
going for his sleepy
tea.
time.
I might want it, and I might want a very caffeinated tea followed by a sleepy time to kind of take the edge off. And then I might want a couple different coffees. I got the little cherry flavored coffee. I got the normal coffee. I got the light roast, dark roast, medium roast, extra dark, extra light. I got whatever I might be in the mood for that day.
So essentially, your morning begins with you taking the edge off, putting an edge on, taking it off again, riding that edge, so to speak.
And then sometimes when there's a certain edge I don't feel like having, I say, no, 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 this won't do. And
Now-
then make them throw that one out.
Oh, you make them throw it out. I was wondering if you're more of a knocking coffee out of your servant's hands type of guy, or...
No, my hands. I need my hands for my leisure. I
Oh.
can't get them scalded by coffee.
True enough.
Is that why
It's-
you're always wearing those white gloves?
Yeah, one of these was worn by Michael Jackson, and the other one I just tried to find one that looked kind of similar.
And then
Well,
after
you've
Brett...
always he's. I mean, let me just say, Toledo has always reminded me of the titular Mickey Mouse of Disney.
In what
Just
way?
because of the
white
gloves.
gloves?
Yeah, the gloves. I think that's
I don't
it.
remember Mickey Mouse selling used hot dogs.
Well, I guess it is the white gloves, and I guess we do. All of us kind of make our lives Disneyland.
That is true.
Well,
you know,
my life's much more tasteful than Disneyland, I would argue, but
Well, it's not just mere child's play.
that's for sure.
there's definitely
because-
a lot of adult situations going on in your life.
Yes,
Indeed,
including
there is.
such as this. After I pick out my assortment of coffees and teas for the morning, I walk over to the kitchen table where I have a servant fetch me the day's paper. And, you know, I don't really like to read, but it's nice to think that I have the option if I felt like it. And so instead, I just kind of sit there petting my fluffy kitty cat for an hour.
What is your cat's name?
Oh, Mittens the fluffy kitty cat. It's an all white kitty cat, very fluffy, very regal, fur as soft as silk. Gets pet so much that it stays so fluffy.
Oh, how many hours a day are you petting this cat?
I'm petting it for at least 2 hours a day, but I start with about an hour in the morning. And I have another employee, I guess I'm supposed to say, who pets the cat when I'm not petting it.
Oh, you know, servants. You can call. You've already said servants. I feel like you can stick with it. Like, who's going to be mad?
Or call them family, even.
Yeah, they're not.
Ooh,
they
that's
can't afford to listen to this podcast. We're gonna paywall this for $10,000, right?
well. And no one's listened to it yet. No one knows who we are.
I
so.
think that maybe a subscriber model would be nice. Maybe for exclusive friends, invite only, kind of in our social circles. We could begin it, and it'll spread amongst, the.
You know what? I'll work out a deal with Stitcher. I hear they'll take anybody.
I heard that as well.
I heard that too. Well, what's
So-
next after your cat?
Well, after I pet my fluffy kitty cat, the thing is, I do the activity which this particular cat may not ever do with me, is I go outside in the backyard to my koi pond, where I just have a big old thing of fish food, and I just stand there for about an hour feeding the fish. See, one time when I first got my first kois, I got too overzealous, and I fed them so much food it killed them all. So I had to learn moderation. Unfortunately, moderation's not often a part of pleasure, but when it comes to feeding these particular fish, I had to learn to be a little bit restrained for their sake.
And then what's next after?
Well, then is when I get to my other business, which you guys may have heard about. I know we talked about it a little bit, but I have a company that is making spaceships.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say it was pleasure. You said earlier your business.
Well, my business is pleasure, but this one, sometimes you got to work hard in order to increase your pleasure in the future, because imagine how fun it's going to be when I have a personal spaceship. I can just fly anywhere I want. I could fly it down the street, or I could fly it to Mars,
wait, they're working already?
Well, not yet, but you can imagine how it will work.
Oh,
I'm
I can
mostly
imagine.
just drawing pictures of it right now and trying to think of how cool it could look.
Oh, what color do you have it?
Well, I can't really think beyond like the classic NASA black and white one, so most of my pictures look pretty much like that, but I'm just imagining there's maybe some jewels in it, or there's a Chase Lounge inside of it that's floating around, and you just kind of strap onto that. And you just...
I used to draw pictures of stuff like that when I was like 7.
Well, once you get to the interior, let me help you. I mean, a spaceship like that doesn't have to be all utility. There could be room for like some fashionable, nice choices in there.
Maybe you should come over sometime and help me design my spaceship.
Oh, I'd love to. Do you have like a working model, like a space we could work with? Maybe you could just
Well,
get one
I
of
have
your
like some
servants.
pens and papers and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. I'll bring over some samples of different types of brass.
Oh, that. Oh, what if the whole
I'm
thing's made out of
imagining
brass?
a lot of cream inside.
Oh, a lot of off-white
Oh.
eggshell. Eggshell is my favorite shade of
And
off-white.
maybe highlighted with some vermilion. Maybe that's a little bit too bold.
Yeah,
but
maybe a nice yellowing undertone to it that'll kind of level it out. You know.
Well, gold is played out, so we don't want to make sure. We want to make sure that yellow isn't too gold. I
Right.
guess, like you're saying,
The
gold's
only
not
problem
cool
with
anymore.
brass is I think it might not work inside of a spaceship since it's so weak. I just
Well,
think
the
you know,
eggheads can figure that out.
we'll let the eggheads figure it out. You have some egghead servants.
Well, I was thinking I'll just call up Elon Musk and be like, "Who are the guys working on your spaceship?" And then I'll just ask them to work on mine.
Oh, that seems like a pretty good policy. How often do you work on the spaceship? How often does this take?
I mean, basically every afternoon, but the thing is, it's boring, so I usually do it for about 5 minutes, and then I just go take a bath until nighttime for about 10 hours.
That is a long bath. Do you take the gloves off?
Oh, yeah, well, I usually, I take off the Michael Jackson glove because it's so valuable, but I leave the other one on.
Oh.
So I can feel like Michael Jackson, but there's no risk of getting that fancy glove wet, you know?
Yeah, you do not want to get that glove wet.
And here's the thing, the reason I can justify taking such a magnificent and lengthy bath is that I'm thinking about my spaceship the whole time and coming up with the next big idea.
Oh, do you have pen and paper at the ready?
Well, no, it's more like just like a thought bubble over my head where I imagine the spaceship zipping through space and I can remember it all for later.
You know what? I'm so rude. I got you guys sitting down and starting, and I didn't offer you anything. Do you guys want an extremely like small appetizer? Maybe something on a crostini?
I'll have a macaroon on a crostini, thank you.
Ooh, well, let me go get the macaroon. You know,
I'll have a macaron on some avocado toast.
that's why I need you to be co-director. You know so much. You know they're from Italy
Are they?
or France.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's the difference? You know, they both like
They're-
wine over there.
They're both.
I mean, they're both very pleasurable places to go.
They're both very expensive. We'll leave it at that. Means they're one of them figured it out. But yeah.
But Loomis, why don't you tell us about your day?
Oh, you don't want to hear about boring old Loomis.
Oh, Loomis,
days.
please tell us. Please tell us about your day.
I could.
I'd love to hear about your day, Loomis. Go.
I have to say, Toledo, you work far too hard. I left that life behind me 5 years ago when I sold Loomis Industries.
I was almost
And-
sweating listening to him talking about drawing a
Oh.
spaceship. Oh my God, the work you do.
I almost fell asleep, not because I was bored, but I was like, oh my Lord, the thought of all that work.
You know, March 20th is World Macaron Day.
Is it?
That's going to be in the
Wow,
documentary.
That's right around the corner.
It's going to be there. Maybe I'll release it on that day.
Yeah, can you finish it in a couple days?
I'll try on it. I'll see what I can do. How long does it take to make a movie? Can't be that hard.
Well, a movie's only an hour and a half, so it probably doesn't take a whole lot longer than that if you just work quickly and smart.
I'll get like a schedule together, and then I'll just get started on it like the day before.
Maybe some of Toledo's guys can help you work on it.
Maybe his servants.
Yeah, or my fluffy kitty cat could star in it if you're looking for some viral moments, maybe.
Oh,
What if you fed a delicious chicken and cheese and gravy, Tasty Treasures Friskies flavor macaroon to a cat?
oh, I imagine they'd quite like it a lot. They'd say, I want that macaroon, meow. Maybe that'll be a scene in my documentary. I'll feed your cat.
That could just be the documentary. It could be a 40-second viral documentary of the cat eating the cat flavored macaroon, cat food flavored, and it would probably get more views than a boring, stuffy old.
We can
know,
film the whole
film.
thing on my iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We completely cut you off, Loomis. Please, Loomis, tell us about your
Oh
day.
no! I mean, like I said,
Please.
it's boring. You guys don't want. I know you don't want to. I know you don't care. So we could just.
I'd love to. Please tell me.
Well, if you insist, I will indulge you, humor you. So a typical day for me, and this is just a weekday because we all know the weekend's different. That's when everything. That's when you get to be double the pleasure, you know. So I'll picture this. So I'll wake up in my hammock.
Ooh.
And yes, I often sleep in a hammock inside. It's kind of inside, outside. My home has a lot of free space and moving air, a lot of pillars and curtains and like flowing fabrics that blow with the breeze, you know? Very romantic.
And the weather machine lately has been just giving us great weather.
Great
Oh
stuff.
my God.
Well, anyway, it's usually around noon, I would say, or 1 p.m. when I'm waking up, depending on how much I indulged the night before.
Oh.
And
What were you indulging in?
Where do we begin?
Where do we begin?
Women,
yeah, thank you.
wine.
Thank you, Vic.
Macaroons.
Oh my God.
Ice cream.
This guy eats so many ice creams.
Maybe I had a keg of beer to myself the night before. Who knows?
Ooh.
Like what the night before brought. So after putting on my tuxedo, I make a morning drink. Usually champagne and Coke, my favorite. And I take about 400 milligrams in edibles.
Wow.
And then I head right to my back to the pool for my morning swim, where I do about 500 laps.
Wow. When did the edibles start kicking in?
They're pretty potent. I start feeling them in about 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just in time for you to hit that pool.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm good to go. And then once I'm done with my 500 laps in the pool.
It takes you about 5 minutes, but it feels like 10 years because you're so high.
Well, the laps, that takes me about 45 minutes to do 500 laps.
But it feels like 45 years.
It's a pretty It's a pretty small pool.
45 years of pleasure.
It's not a huge pool.
I mean, it's 50 feet long.
A
50
lap
feet
is
long
about
is
3 feet.
no. It's
Well,
50
he's also
feet.
really, but you're really high, so you're doing the
10
lap
feet wide, 50 feet
You're doing the
long.
lap sideways instead of lengthwise
Don't
because you're so high.
don't. I'm not snitching or anything, but he likes to. He definitely rounds the corners. Cuts a little time by
And
rounding.
sometimes he does them in the shallow end. He has one of those pools where it gets deeper and deeper the further you walk. And sometimes he's in like 1 foot shallow water, walking side to side in the pool.
Well, that's about an
doing
hour
his
after
laps.
when the edibles kind of about an hour later.
Toledo's never been to my home, so please.
After,
You've never been to my home.
After about an hour, he's mostly just laying down in the shallow end of the pool.
It takes me 45 minutes. I mean, like I said, I know you guys don't actually care, so.
Oh, well, we're kidding. Don't come on.
This sounds very
I get it,
pleasurable.
I get
to
it.
me.
No, Mr. Powerful Louis Contraire can't take a little joke. Come on, tell us.
Well, after I finish up my laps in the pool, about that time, it's time for lunch. And can you guess what that is?
Is it more edibles?
Well, it's
I hope
whatever
it's,
I want.
I hope it's
Oh.
those very tiny sandwiches that you get with tea or whatever.
Tea sandwiches.
Yeah.
Whatever
I
the
think they're
mood-
actually called that.
Whatever the mood strikes me, I will get.
Well, what'd you have today?
I hope it's pizza.
Well, today I woke up at about 3 p.m.,
Oh, wow.
so I couldn't eat lunch. That's more like tea. Even though I'm an American, I still have tea.
Oh, I
every day,
love
you know?
tea. Don't get me started.
And people don't realize when they hear the across the pond, they hear the people talk about having tea. They think they're just drinking tea. No, I mean it's sort of like a lunch in the afternoon, and that could be a big old bacon cheeseburger. That could be ribs. That could be wings. That could be a big pizza to yourself. That could be tea. You know,
Served on one of those things that has like 3 or 4 levels. You know how they serve like the tea biscuits and shit? There's just like 100 wings on there and 8 pizzas
Yeah.
stacked up.
You get to
ice cream sundaes.
Oh my. That is decadent and rich and delightful.
just handfuls of chocolate chips.
Mmm.
Just bowls of candy with scoops in them. Bowls of M&Ms.
And
Oh.
gummy worms.
Have Toledo, have you been with Loomis on when he's on one of his heavy cream kicks?
Oh no, I've heard tale, but I've never.
He just eats
Get out of the
nothing.
way. Just get out of the
But
way. That's all I can say.
Granulated sugar into some heavy cream. It's like liquid ice cream. He just chugs
Well, I
the
mean,
stuff.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind putting a few gummy worms in there and just chewing on my drink while I suck it
Do you
down.
remember, Vic, when we were in the Amazon and we were kind of roughing it? We were like, let's have a fun expedition.
Oh, yeah.
I still had a little thing of confectionery sugar on me, like I do at all times. And you were like, well, this fish is no good. And I said, we'll have a little bit of this on it. And you're like, oh, mama.
Uh-huh.
Thank God for that.
Yeah,
Well, for the listeners, the Amazon is what we call Jeff Bezos' yacht. We wouldn't go to a dirty jungle.
God, no. Dangerous.
Right.
That's not pleasurable.
No,
Itchy.
no. That's where we do ayahuasca.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos' boat.
Yeah. In the basement. It's a big boat. It's got a basement. I know people
when it gets stormy outside, we all run down to the basement.
You run down to the
wait out
basement because that thing ain't gonna sink. It's already underwater. It can't sink.
Yeah.
Jeff gives us whatever he wants. He says, help yourself to anything, and then he heads off. He doesn't even hang around on the boat because he's working so hard. He says, I got to get these packages out.
Oh,
We're all
yeah.
like, Jeff, baby, when are you
he's
going to
boxing stuff up
retire?
himself.
Did you see?
time.
Oh my God! And we might have to cut this from the podcast. When was the last time you hung out with Jeff? He got. Got
4th of July?
okay. Since then, he got Steve Zahn Han Soloed in Carbonite or whatever that is. The exact same thing from Star Wars. He's got a frozen Steve Zahn. It's amazing.
Did he have to pay Steve Zahn to let him do that? Or how
I
did he
don't
work
know.
that out?
He wouldn't talk about it. He just winked at me when I asked, "What are the details here?" I don't know.
Maybe
If I know Steve and Jeff, and I know them both pretty well, I imagine Steve volunteered.
or he lost a bet.
Well, Steve might have been. He might be method acting for the Star Wars Episode 5
you know what?
remake when they're gonna let Steve Zahn play Han Solo.
Yeah, but
Zahn
him and
Solo.
Him and Jeff are always disc golfing, and they bet on it.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Oh yeah, whoever loses disc golf is gonna have to get put in carbonite for a week or whatever.
They were what?
Or the other one has to eat the other's booger or something nasty like that. But
Yeah,
they're fun
I
guys.
know Jeff and Steve, they were in Abu Dhabi on that skyscraper that was built to have a ring of disc golf courses around the 100th level. And the wind is insane up there. You can barely throw it.
I heard they said that making the shots is like playing a Super Mario
Yeah.
game, insanely.
But apparently Steve Zahn can
crazy
spin
skill.
it in a way that it just cuts right through the wind. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Jeff will throw it the other way, and the wind will whip it right back into the thing. These guys are the best disc golfers I've ever seen in my life.
And it's so windy up there, and it's cold, and all they're both wearing is harem pants.
Oh, they love those harem pants. And I don't understand how those harem pants don't get caught on the wind and just get whipped right out into the Persian Gulf or whatever.
Like Mary Poppins
Especially
or something.
Jeff
They just
is
pick
such
you
a
right up.
small guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, where were we? Man, we can really go
with
off
your
on
day. You were talking about lunch.
Oh, my day,
Your
my
tea
day.
time
I thought-
feast you had in the afternoon.
I'm gonna probably pack them on. I'm probably gonna have to go on a hunger strike for a month or two pretty soon here, and shed some of this stuff. I'm gonna probably really take a lot of amphetamines.
Yeah, I got a
and
guy. We'll talk about it
whatnot.
later. I got a guy.
Don't worry. I got a big
He'll
stock
he'll
back
straighten you
home.
out. He's a witch. He hooks you up to one of those old exercise machines that works your love handles. That ribs it back and forth like one of those motorized thing. And then he feeds you this pill. You wake up and you're like,
He only lets you drink vinegar. You're like, I'm thirsty. He's like, nope, this is all you
and
get.
the apple cider stuff.
But when you're done, oh my
Yeah,
god,
it really does feel like you shit out a whole person. He had that
yeah.
special toilet made for this.
So, usually I have several candles around my home going at all times. I also like to light a nice incense if I'm curling up on the sofas with a hot cup of turmeric tea, and I might listen to some Enya. But if Vic is over, we gotta have on the Frampton. He insists, and then I might go. I might head out. I might go shopping with Vic. Recently with Toledo. Might go shopping for fountains or for some soft new fabrics that came out. And some of the labs we like to visit, we have them make sweatsuits out of these fabrics for us.
Oh yeah? What kind of sweatsuits are we talking here? You haven't cut me on this at all. I'd like to
Well, me and Toledo, one of the labs that I have a very close relationship with, came out with this hyper velour recently. And this stuff will make you shit if you see it. If you feel this, I'm telling you, Vic, if you feel this stuff, you're going to buy out the world supply, which isn't even that big right now. It's kind of hard to get your hands on. It's kind of like Vanta Black.
I'd have to be.
There's legal stuff around it.
I'm a huge mulberry silkworm guy. And, I got a whole, I don't know what to call them, infestation of them in the greenhouse out back. So, I'd love to see what you're working on because I have some very soft fabric as well.
Ooh, maybe you should join us next time. I need to go back there actually because I got my hands on a rare item. Do you remember that part in the Bible where Joseph wears his amazing Technicolor dream coat?
Was that the Bible?
I just got that. The one that's in the Bible, I got that. I acquired it, and I want to turn it into a tracksuit.
I thought that was Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, that's the Bible.
Is that what that is? Okay.
That's the Bible.
Do you just think
What do you think that's based on? That's the Bible.
Hold on, do you think that just all plays are based on the Bible?
No, anything with Jesus in it. What do you think? Where else would they get a story about Jesus besides the Bible?
I thought it was Joseph in the dream coat, not Jesus.
That's what I said. But he's friends with him.
Oh, okay. I think
he shows up in one of those scenes where they're hanging out, like when they're having the big meal together or whatever, and he's wearing his big coat.
Oh, the famous big meal. There's all those pictures of it they put in all those churches. The big meal.
Yeah.
No, okay, I got you. I'm sorry.
So anyway, I need to get that made. So you should grab a really nice fabric and come with us next time.
Well, I'll bring a handful of worms over and we'll get started.
Yeah, maybe they can mash them up and pull the silk out for you.
But yeah, we can either way we can do it. We'll get that silk out of those worms. I'm up to the eyeballs in worms. Okay, Elvis and Carmine are eating them all the time. Honestly, I know you think like I'm doing you a favor, but it'd be a huge favor if you took some of these worms off my hands. They only eat fucking mulberries, which are like hard to find a lot of mulberries. Like you can get them anywhere, but it's hard to find like a lot of them.
Oh, from the song, The Mulberry Bush.
Exactly. Just like the famous song from the Bible about the mulberry bush.
The burning mulberry bush.
But anyway, really my day is kind of whatever I feel, whatever will make me feel good at that moment is what I do. I mean, be it
me too.
Having an entire bottle of wine while I'm driving my speedster, while wearing a scarf and goggles, or ordering a wedding cake for dinner and watching this show called Death Note. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, that is quite a delightful animated picture.
It's kind of crazy, and I'm thinking, I was like, well, what if I could get one of those? I could just start writing names.
Well, now you're talking about work
fun.
Again. That's too much work to decide who deserves to die. And all
which
that.
is why I didn't really look into it. But I mean, it's either those things, or maybe I just want to practice my jump shot for 11 straight hours. I'll do that.
It is really liberating to live like how we do. I learned how to play the kazoo professionally. It took me like 2 years straight, and I had lessons every day. And now, I can do Mickey Mouse Club intros. I can do all the great kazoo songs, like first try, no practice.
He's really good.
Yeah, I'm not even.
He played me "Us and Them" by Pink Floyd the other day.
I'm not even pretending to be modest. Like that's how confident I am. Like I'm great at it. Like I'm one of the best.
Right. So I'll do all of that kind of stuff, or maybe I'll just. I wake up and I'll lay down and I'll just like read my phone for 5 hours straight.
Right.
That's all I'll do.
No, that's. I mean, it's great to have options in such a luxury. I noticed that you're drinking. What is that you're drinking right now?
This
is that creme de menthe?
Oh yes, with a little bit of birch.
Oh wow, just a little bit, huh? Man, that's creme de menthe.
Here's a trick about birch beer: is it's just root beer.
Oh, I know. You're speaking to the choir here.
Well, isn't it made with birch instead of root?
I don't really care.
I think it doesn't matter what root you use. It could be carrots. It could be celery.
Or maybe it's like it's champagne where you can only call it birch beer if it's made in the birch region.
I've been drinking this birch, and I've been enjoying a nice birch, and I've been drinking this birch for about 2.5 weeks now, and it's really been boosting my kind of creative abilities. Kind of like, I actually want to work on something, and I'm careful with that word, the W word. But I've been working on my novels, Lament Beyond a Shoreline.
Oh, plural.
For quite
Multiple
a while.
novels?
And
Wow.
well, there are 13
Oh.
of them. I'm just halfway done with book 4. I haven't done any others. There's nothing else.
How-
Oh, you just decided to jump in on book 4. You were just inspired.
Well, with the way it fits in the story, I had to.
Oh, it's kind of
Well,
like
it's
a
like Star
dark...
Wars. No, it's like Star Wars where you start with part 4.
That checks out.
I
Checks
suppose.
out. When you're right, you're right.
I've only seen one Star Wars movie, and I don't remember which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's because George had me come over. So I've been working on those, and then I was like, it'd be a great place to write. I think we should all move into a cathedral for a bit. I think we could
Oh,
buy
yeah.
one.
I mean,